And I think that pretty well covers it.
Does it?
I think for the moment it does.
Okay. Why don't you tell us about our guest today?
Well, the delicious story.
Hello, thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful. Well, so where in the world is Michael Bennett? That's the first thing I want to say.
Right now, if you can hear it, I'm in the middle of the restaurant, in a very crowded restaurant on Saturday afternoon in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
We're situated right on the water. It's a big, beautiful, seafood-orientated, with a Caribbean twist kind of a menu restaurant. Big patio, a lot of bars, just packed to the rafters right now today.
Outstanding.
Wow.
I want to be there.
Yeah, it's nice and sunny. It's yesterday was beautiful. Today is beautiful. It's unbelievable down here.
Oh,
We've had
wow.
great weather. This past winter, it's just been great down here.
There you go. Now that's a good standard.
I go south to the Caribbean for my winter vacation.
Oh, wow.
The Caribbean. And to that point, I'll tell you, we were looking over your book,
Oh, beautiful book.
The Land of Misfits, Pirates, and
Thank
Cooks.
you.
What a book! I mean, just the title.
The Misfits, Pirates, and Cooks. It's all about the Caribbean. It's unbelievable. It came to me one day, and it was just so appropriate.
Well, so for those of us who've not been to the Caribbean, I mean, what's the lure?
Well,
what's the allure?
What the lure is, for me, I dream about it every day, just the blue water. If you see a couple pictures in the book, you'll know why, but when you get there in person, it's the water, and it's the people you meet, and that's kind of like why I've named it Misfits, because, what goes on in the Caribbean stays in the Caribbean kind of thing.
Oh.
The other thing is, if we didn't have the pirates, way back when, we wouldn't have the transportation systems that we have now, and we wouldn't be able to make it, any food down there because, we just wouldn't have enough, to supply all the need that is involved.
Right.
And of course, cooks, in the land of Misfits, Pirates, and Cooks, where would you be without, a couple of decent chefs on a Caribbean island, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, we were looking at some of the pictures because you do generously share on your website, foodbrats.com. If you click open that, we can actually look at this first book. And we are going to focus a little bit on the first book, although we will get to your newly launched book too. But we were just looking at looking at it and looking at some of the. You provide a lot of information at the beginning of the book as well, and that's the part we were looking at before you get to the recipes.
And we are on the website now, the visuals for and featuring in the Land of Misfits, Pirates, and Cooks.
Excellent. Well, okay, so now back to this cookbook, though, I want to talk about. So could you talk a little bit about, so you were inspired by the Caribbean, and you spend quite a bit of time there, right? So could you just kind of provide an overview of kind of how that book was organized and some of the kinds of things that you were trying to convey there, and talk about this Carib I can sort of thing too.
I know.
Caribbean. Oh, thank you.
This is
Caribbean.
when I was down there. I worked with a lot of chefs, and one of them kind of told me that they don't really do American food, and they really don't do a Caribbean type of cuisine like the rural, old-fashioned Caribbean. What it is they take American products that everybody that comes here to visit is basically American, and there's a few Europeans, of course.
Okay.
But they really love the idea of having something that they like let's just say a New York strip or barbecue ribs or grouper or snapper or lobster, but they want it jazzed up. They want a Caribbean twist, and that's what Caribbean was explained to me. It's
sense of what the flavors are like that are particular to Caribbean food. I mean, I'm assuming there's a lot of fish there, right? Obviously.
Oh yeah, it's always fish. There's a lot of fish because it's too hot for cattle. There's only one place that I know that has cattle, and that's St. Croix, and that's like a Brahma. But it's always seafood, and it's always bold. The flavors are outstanding, very, very noticeable, and it's usually with a tropical fruit. Now, mango, of course, being the king of fruits, it's always in a lot of dishes.
Okay.
But guava, soursop, guava, banana, and mango grow on the streets. I mean, you just run down the road, and sometimes it's hard to drive on the mountain roads because the mango trees hang over the roads, and then the mangoes drop on the road, and then your tire hits them.
Oh, no.
And if you try to brake when you're sliding on a mango, it's 800 feet down the side of the mountain. to the water until you stop.
Oh, dear.
So, you know, it's always something with mango, mostly guava, all kinds of different other fruit. But that's why I explain a lot in the beginning of the book of the different special items that you will find, like calabaza, adamoya. You know, those things there are covered in the beginning of the book, and it helps you understand how the Caribbean people make the Caribbean style.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I believe I read somewhere that you're saying, hey, you can actually make these things wherever you live. Is that possible?
Oh yeah. With the way FedEx works and jet travel, it's no problem. I just got some cherimoyas from California this morning.
First of all, Lorenzo, you mentioned the restaurant. You want to mention your restaurant one more time? It sounds wonderful.
It's Bimini Boatyard. It's been here for 20 years. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary in September last year.
Okay.
And I've been here for 2 years now because I just got up from St. Croix in September 2 years ago. So, Bimini Boatyard, it's a fantastic place right on the river here, right in downtown Fort Lauderdale. You can't miss it on the way to the beach.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, it sounds like you live in this really wonderful place, and you certainly sound like you know how to maximize the enjoyment of the surroundings and get out and shop and savor and sample and all that sort of thing. So what is your background? I'm just curious. How long have you been a chef, and how did you come to finally decide to take some of what you've been doing all these years and put it in a book, the first book?
Well, it's a long story, but my grandfather came down here from Ohio.
Okay.
He opened up one of the first restaurants in North Fort Lauderdale. My father was in the business. I was in the business while I was going to college to be a pharmacist. And I took a lot of chemistry. I know it's kind of weird, but listen, I took chemistry a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. But it helps you understand how foods react to each other.
Sure.
All this chemistry that I took in college helped out in my cooking.
Sure.
And I really enjoyed cooking, the art form of doing something, creating something unique, more than I did standing around thinking I was going to be in a 9-to-5 situation all day long in an office or in a business sense. I would rather be, out there, jet setting around, going from one restaurant to the other, or doing you get this emotion, you get, all this stuff going on at one time. It's a phenomenal thing. You always get jacked up every day. Every day you always get inspired.
Wow, it sounds really cool. Well, okay, so you did this first cookbook. It's a beautiful cookbook, and you're right. There's some wonderful pictures in it. But as I was looking at some of those initial recipes, I thought I could probably do that. So, did you have a particular level of cook in mind when you did those recipes?
You know what, you came across something that everybody asked. I had a lot of people, look at the book and say, well, I can't do that because I can't find it. But that isn't the reason anymore. It's basically you got to have an open mind.
Okay.
And take a look and see, okay, I can find guava. I just have to go, instead of going to Kroger's or
right.
Publix or Winn-Dixie, I have to go to a little Latino market.
Right.
And then you can find that stuff at the little Latino market. Everybody has one in their neighborhood.
Sure.
And that's the way I kind of approach it. You just have to have a little bit more of an open mind. Try to find Chinese black rice or something like that. You have to go to a natural food store. To find the fruit. Either go to your Latino market and find some sugar cane or guava or sour orange or anything like that.
Right.
Or sometimes, like I had to do today, I had to airship some cherimoya in.
Cherimoya.
It's one of those fun things. Cherimoya. It's a really beautiful fruit. The taste is custardy, like vanilla pudding, but in a fruit, like a peach kind of a softness. But then it's mixed in with apple, a little pineapple, the more pineapple than anything else, and then like a vanilla custard and a